Good morning, everybody, and this is the Power 3 podcast. I thank y'all for joining me. This is your host, aka Bishop, and I'm back to give you the recap from Sunday's games and my predictions. Thank you again for joining and tuning in, and thank you for watching the Power 3 podcast. Well, here we are with the Power 3 podcast. I'm back. Good morning, everybody. Great Monday, Columbus Day morning. I know everybody's off, so everybody should be tuning in to the Power 3 podcast. I'm sure I got a few people out there watching. I appreciate each and every one of y'all that's tuning in. But let's get into Sunday's games. As you know, I'm a bit upset about Sunday's game because one of the games didn't end the way I wanted to or way I anticipated, and I'm definitely going to talk about that later in the game, later in the podcast. But let's go ahead and get it started with the podcast. As you know, I started the week off 0-1 because the Cardinals beat the 49ers, and I chose the 49ers over the Cardinals. So I started the week off pretty slow with that game. But moving on, we have the Washington Redskins defeating the Baltimore Ravens 16-0, and of course I picked the Washington Redskins with that, and that put me at 1-1. Kirk Cousins had an overall rating of 85.4, while Joe Flacco had an overall rating of 82.7. Cousins went 29 for 41 for 260 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception, whereas Flacco went 30 for 46, 210 yards and 1 touchdown. Rushing, we had Jones with 14 carries for 31 yards and no touchdowns, and then West had 11 carries for 95 yards and no touchdowns. But again, the Washington Redskins came through for me, got me that win 16-10 over the Baltimore Ravens, which was still close. It was a close game, but I got the win. That put me at 1-1. Moving on, we had the New England Patriots, who of course Tom Brady was back in effect after his 4-game suspension, and you could tell he had been doing some practicing while he was off, because he went 28 for 40 for 406 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Patriots defeated the Browns 33-13. Martellus Bennett had 6 receptions for 67 yards and 3 TDs as a tight end. Whoever had Martellus Bennett as their tight end, they racked up major points. And then they had Chris Hogan for 4 receptions and 114 yards. That put me at 2-1. And then the game that upset me the most, and I really don't blame the Philadelphia Eagles, I actually blame the coaching staff, especially the offensive coordinator. The Eagles lost this game 24-23, but they were up 23-21 with less than 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And what happened was the Eagles, it was 3rd and 3 with like little over 3 minutes left in like 3:05 or something like that left in the game. And the offensive coordinator chose to run a sweep play with Ryan Matthews to gain these 3 yards. Now, mind you, throughout this entire game, they've been gaining more yards between the tackles. Now, why in the world would you try and run a sweep for 3 yards that you haven't ran the entire game? Then, not only that, you ran the sweep, and then we had Ryan Matthews, who's not a rookie, who is 33 years old, who's been in the league for a while now, for at least over 8 years. He has the ball. They run the sweep to the right. He has the ball in the left hand. All running backs, all coaches, all running back coaches, even elementary kids, all the kids are taught, everybody is taught as a running back, put the ball in the hand that's closest to the out of bounds, to the sideline. Just in case you fumble the ball, hopefully it'll fumble out of bounds. But no, Ryan Matthews wants to hold the ball in the inside arm, and of course, the man hit him, put a helmet on the ball is fumbled. Okay, no problem. Then that's fine. We're not even too much worried about that. That's fine. Okay, they go down. The defense do their job, and they hold them to 3 points. hold them to 3 points. So the score is 24-23 at this point. There's still over a minute left in this game. Still a minute left in this game. Then the Philadelphia Eagles offense come on the field, and I predicted this. Mind you, up to this game, Carson Wentz hadn't thrown not one interception. Through this whole game, he hadn't thrown one interception. So there's over a minute left in the game. True enough, there are no timeouts. Philadelphia had used all their timeouts to save clock when they was on defense. So they had no more timeouts. They did have to go pretty much the length of the field, probably about, I think the ball was probably on the 25-yard line. Explain to me why they would throw like a bomb on the first play. A bomb on the first play. Why would you do that? You have 4 downs. You have over a minute in the clock. You have a sideline to work. You don't need a touchdown. All you need is a field goal to win this game. Why would you throw a bomb on the very first play where a man is double covered, where your receivers hasn't shown you anything that there are playmakers like that? Why would you throw that ball? Carson Wentz threw that ball. I don't blame him because he's not calling plays. He's not calling plays. He's a rookie, so we know he's not calling plays. This is the offensive coordinator's job. He's calling that play. And, of course, he threw an interception. He threw his first NFL game interception in that game, and that's how Philly lost that game. This makes me wonder, and this is the reason why a lot of people feel like these games are rigged. A lot of people feel like these games are rigged because of incidents like that. And I have to agree with them that it just doesn't make sense. You run through the tackles all through the game. That's when you've been successful. You run the ball through the tackles, and then on third down with 3 minutes left, if you get this first down, you probably pretty much can end the game and win the game and go 4-0 and stay undefeated. But you want to run a sweep, and then a veteran running back holds the ball in the left hand instead of the right hand to make sure it's, a fumble happens. Then you throw an interception, you throw a bomb like it's the last play of the game, like you're almost trying to throw a Hail Mary, like there's no time left on the clock, and it gets intercepted. Seriously? These are the reason why people feel like these games are rigged. And that had me hot. That had me furious. I was so furious about that game because there's no way the Philadelphia Eagles should have lost that game. They held them to 3 points the entire second half. They held the Detroit Lions to 3 points the entire second half. The 3 points that the Detroit Lions got in the second half was the 3 points that got them to win. Go figure. Anyway, Carson Wentz went 25 for 33, threw for 238 yards, 2 touchdowns, and one interception. Crucial interception. And Matt Stafford threw 19 for 25, 180 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Darren Sproles had 5 carries for 45 yards. Ryan Matthews had 11 carries for 42 yards. Riddick had 11 carries for 49 yards. None of the running backs saw the end zone. So, yeah, this game right here just had me so upset because that was just some bad play call by the offensive coordinator. Those are the type of play calls right there that an offensive coordinator, I feel, should get fired for, my personal opinion. So that put me at 2-2. Then there was the Bears versus the Colts. The Colts defeated the Bears 29-23, which I stated. Brian Hoyer threw for 397 yards, 2 touchdowns, and still couldn't get the win for the Bears. But 29-23, Colts over the Bears. So that made me 3-3, right? 2-2, 3-2. I'm sorry, 3-2. Then the Titans defeat the Dolphins as I picked. That was my pick that I picked, and they defeat them 30-17. Marcus Mariota had 60 rushing yards, 4 total touchdowns, and I stated Marcus Mariota, it was time for him to cut loose, and he did. DeMarco Murray had 121 yards rushing. So the Titans over the Dolphins. Then the Vikings defeated the Houston Texans, which I expected because I said J.J. Watt. The Texans aren't the same without J.J. Watt. Sam Bradford went 22 for 30, 271 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The Vikings are still undefeated. Matter of fact, the Vikings are the only team undefeated in the NFL right now at 5-0. Then we have the Steelers destroying the Jets. The Pittsburgh Steelers just killed the Jets. It was 31-13. Ben Roethlisberger had an amazing game again, 34 for 47 for 380 yards, 4 touchdowns. Le'Veon Bell had 154 total yards. Then this is the game in which I lost. The Falcons defeated the Broncos, which now the Broncos are no longer undefeated. That's why the Vikings are the only undefeated team in the NFL right now. The Vikings defeat the Broncos 23-16. And everybody was favored for the Broncos to fall to the Falcons. Then we had the Dallas Cowboys defeating the Cincinnati Bengals, which I picked that game as well, 28-14. Ezekiel Elliott had 15 carries for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dak Prescott had 18 for 24, 227 yards and 2 total touchdowns. So I won that game as well. Then the Buffalo Bills beat the LA Rams 30-19. I picked that game as well. LaShawn McCoy had 18 carries for 150 yards. So that I picked that game as well. Then we have the Oakland Raiders defeating the San Diego Chargers. And I picked the Oakland Raiders to do exactly what they did. Derek Carr threw 25 for 40, 317 yards, 2 touchdowns. Amari Cooper had 6 receptions for 138 yards and 1 touchdown himself. So the Oakland Raiders over the San Diego Chargers 34-31. Great game there. And then the Green Bay Packers win at home at Lambeau Leap Field over the Giants 23-16. I picked the Green Bay Packers, of course. Aaron Rodgers went 23 for 45, 259 yards for 2 touchdowns. Devontae Freeman had 5 receptions, 85 yards, 1 touchdown. So with that being said, that put me at 10-3 for the week in week 6. Great job in which I did this week again. We still have Monday's night's game, so I'm either gonna go 10-4 or 11-3. So that tonight's game is the Buccaneers versus the Panthers. I'll be back later on to give you the pregame on that game, tell you my predictions for that game. But week 5 has been good. 10-3 for the week. Let me make sure I'm right. I lost one. Let me see. 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, 6-3, 7-3, 8-3, 9-3, 10-3. Correct. So I'm 10-3 for week 5. So there you have it, everyone. That is week 5 as of now. I still got the Monday game. Like I said, I'll be back for the Monday's game later on. So with that being said, I thank each and every one of y'all for tuning in to the Power 3 podcast. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right there and subscribe to my channel, to the Power 3, because this is exactly what the Power 3 is about. Giving you game predictions, whether it's college, whether it's NFL, things of that nature. I really appreciate you. Also, give me a thumbs up if you like the podcast as well. And please be sure to share the podcast and let someone also see my podcast that may like it. Again, I thank each and every one of y'all for watching. Again, my prayers go out to those affected from Hurricane Matthew from this past week. Again, I thank y'all. Y'all have a great Monday. Enjoy your Columbus Day. For those that are off, enjoy your day off. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. God bless y'all. Make sure y'all tune in later on this evening for the pregame between the Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers. Again, thank y'all. I love y'all. Peace. The Power 3 podcast. Your host, Sean, a.k.a. Bishop. I'm out this camp.